What's up, Marlon? You got
Hey, Alex.
Let's go, let's go. Nice. What's up, Ulysses? How are you, buddy? We're gonna let people log in, you guys. So just chat if you guys want to just put where you're from in the chat box. See where everybody's logging in from. I'm in Maui.
Happy holidays, everyone. Like Alex said, go ahead and chime in the chat down there if you don't mind, just where you're tuning in from, what your Instagram handle is, and what market you're from, and what your name is, so we can all get an idea of who's here. And we'll get things started here in just a minute.
I'm excited, you guys. We're gonna review that live deal. We're gonna go through some amazing questions that we got from you guys. So we're just amped to get this going. So we're gonna let people log in. What's up, Warren? What's up, Victor? Vallejo. What's up, Jacob? What's up, Christian? Got people from Wisconsin. Damn, what's up, man? That is amazing. Ohio. Hi, Joyce.
See you, North Virginia Beach. Awesome.
We got our Christmas spirit going. We're trying to give you guys the best gift that anybody can give a friend is the ability to have control of your financial freedom.
I see Lena checking in all the way from Ohio. We got Santa Cruz, California. This is awesome. Some NorCal, some SoCal, some East Coast, West Coast. This is some Maui people logging in all the way from the islands in Hawaii. This is great.
Just making the community bigger and stronger, you guys. We're all stronger together. And again, I'm excited to go through this deal. Hopefully we can get the deal, but it is a live one, so we'll see how we analyze deals. Like exactly. We're not hiding anything, no fluff.
So let's go ahead and get things kicked off here in a second. We'll go ahead and give people another minute to get logged in here, and then we'll get things going.
Okay, let me pull up the questions over here on my end, so I'm ready. Thank you again, Jay, for putting it all together. You are amazing. All right.
Guys, we got San Francisco checking in as well. I see my brother James Wall in the building. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
What's up, Mr. Wall? We got the broski.
Dr. Wall's in the building.
Love it, love it.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get things kicked off here in just a second. Want to welcome everybody here to the third week of Ask Alex. Really happy to have everybody out here for a chance to, as Alex mentioned, we're going to actually be diving into a live deal today and checking in on how we, as a team, actually kind of look at all these and check in with everything as well. So it should be really exciting to see that for you guys. So Alex, why don't we go ahead and get things started and welcome everybody to week 3 here.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys, a couple of things I wanted to make a point on is number one is that as we get towards the end of the year, it's easy for us to get into that holiday mood, into the, kind of get a little bit lazy, kind of take our foot off the gas. And I just want you guys not to fall victim to that mindset, because what happens is you could lose momentum. If you're starting to like really pick up some momentum in your business, you don't want to take too much time off. Not, you definitely want to, spend time with family, but you just don't want to lose that what you're doing, that consistency. So for me, like, I don't need more than like a day or two off, because I love my life. And I think that's very important that you don't really need a vacation from, because it's just that amazing. So just don't fall victim to the holiday laziness. Another thing is I wanted to remind you guys is estimate how much you can change and transform your life in 1 year. My life was very different last year. And every year you need to be improving your life. So just don't ever underestimate that. You could accomplish a lot in 1 year if you just take a lot of action and you're very purposeful with and work with the right people. So there's that second point. And then also I wanted to mention that our last webinar of the year next week, we're going to be going in detail with goals. We're going to help you guys set some goals for 2021. So it's the best year you've ever had. And then we're going to go through some of our goals so you guys, we can share with you and we can have that accountability, right? Where we're holding each other accountable to what the goals we set for next year. All right. And then I just want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Your time is very valuable. It's the most valuable thing that you have. And so we really appreciate it. Jay, Will, Marlon, we really appreciate you guys spending time, investing in time with us. And that's why we're going to put this together on a weekly basis and give you as much as possible value. So you guys, it's worth your time. All right. And so you guys are all go-getters. You're setting yourself up for success by tuning into things like this. All right. So you guys, are we just going to jump right into the questions or what do we got? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Hey guys, so let's
and again, Alex, I think it's awesome that you you laid it out there, guys. What we're doing next week with the goals, Alex, like you mentioned, like you can really change your life in 1 year. So I can't wait to see some of the goals that we talk about next week with everybody and kind of dive in. What I'm going to do right now, guys, is I'm just going to send out a poll question. I know some of you might have answered it last week, but we're just going to send out a poll, checking in with you guys, just seeing what level of real estate investor you are. Are you a new investor who's hasn't completed a deal yet? Have you completed one deal? Are you kind of in between 2 and 5 deals, or are you getting pretty advanced? And if you don't mind just answering that question for us, we'd really appreciate it. Jay, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty, so if you don't mind starting with the first question there, I'd appreciate it very much.
Yes, sorry about that, everyone. Okay, first question to start this webinar off. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Happy holidays. And just like Alex said, we're doing it, setting ourselves up for success. And, you got to put the time and effort into it. You can take the time off, but, the only way to get to where you're going is to putting in the effort. All right, so we have the polls up. And our first question that we got from you guys, thank you again for asking the questions. And thank you again for being here, is how to establish good partnerships.
Awesome question. Yes. Partnerships are extremely important in real estate investing, and they can be structured in many ways. But I think the points that we want to cover is, number one, is that you need to have two things that are really clear, which is the roles and goals to the partnership. Because what you want to make sure is, what is it that you're bringing to the table and what is it they're bringing to the table? And you want that to be very clear from the beginning. You don't want ambiguity, and it creates this problem where there's overlap, or you're not doing the things you should be doing. So just make sure that you're setting yourself for success in a partnership by establishing the roles and the goals. If you find that they have too many things that you guys have in common, I had a partner before where we just had too many things that we did well. It was the same. So there was a lot of overlap. We did not kind of continue to work together because he did the same thing I did well. And so there just wasn't that complementary skill set that you need in good partnerships. Another thing is, you need to, like I was saying, establish that goal. Like, what is the goal? Oh, wait, we want to flip a house together. Okay. I'm a big fan of the deal by deal type of mindset. Like, don't want to try to build Rome in your head or with your partner without even doing one deal, without even like doing some type of action, because you don't know how you guys are going to work together. So make sure that you have a realistic goal, but it's not too lengthy. It's something where you guys can start and then kind of build off of that. Another thing is, you need to be a good partner yourself. So you need to start there, right? And if you're not a good partner, then how can you expect to attract a good partner? So make sure that you're analyzing what you bring to the table and you're very clear about all the skills and all the resources, all things that you could bring to it. And you're coming in there with the mindset of like, hey, I want to be a great partner. So then that way I can have a great partner. Okay, you guys? So that's that question, how to establish and look at good partnerships.
Love that, Alex. Again, thanks for kind of diving into that. I think if you're just getting started, a lot of people, want to kind of go that partnership route, and knowing, your roles and goals before you get into that is very important. So great answer there. And again, great question, guys. We appreciate you coming up with these great questions.
I forgot to mention one thing, sorry, is that you need to also have similar values. And for us, a couple of those values are integrity and work ethic. So if someone's not willing to put in the work with us, we're not going to be able to help them out because they don't have the same value or don't understand that this business requires a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, a large commitment. So if they don't have that work ethic, we're probably not going to be on the same page. And then also the integrity. In this business, you get put in situations where your integrity, it can be questioned because we're dealing with people that are losing their houses. We're dealing with real estate agents that are potentially representing us as a buyer, but also representing the seller. There's a couple of situations you're going to be put into, and so you need to have a high level of integrity. I like to have a strong moral compass because I don't want to do people shady. I only want to buy houses from people that want to sell their house, and so just make sure that the partners that you potentially want to align with have the same values as you do. And that's just an example of the values that we have in our team. And all of us have a high level of integrity and a great work ethic and a commitment to this business. And that's why we get along very well and we're having success together.
Alex, that was great. I see a lot of people in the chat. Andy Rodas saying roles and goals, and Zasha commenting that she couldn't agree more about the morals. So I think a lot of people here in the group, in the community, are on that same kind of idea, Alex. Nobody here wants to work with people that aren't fun to work with, that aren't quality people. And I think that's a really good foundation for making a partnership is making sure that you're aligned on those same kind of goals, roles, and making sure that you're all in integrity and good people. So let's dive into the next question. This one's a little bit more market related, Alex. What do you think is happening here with the market? Do you foresee prices kind of going down here over the next couple of months or into 2021?
Well, I don't. And the reason I don't is because home values and home prices really depend on supply and demand. And because of the constrained supply, and the low interest rates, there's a strong demand. So unless interest rates actually change, because some of you were probably not in this business, but in the end of 2018, from August to the end of the year, they raised the interest rates like 2-3, and then it was very hard for us to sell our properties. It really changed the values kind of quickly there. So I think you need to pay close attention to what's happening with interest, because when they go up, that's when you're going to see inventory potentially go up, and then that way, prices put pressure on prices to come down. So just keep that in mind. Make a point is that if home prices begin to go down, say middle of next year, or the rates go up end of the year, home prices begin to go down, everybody seems to think that, when home prices go down, I'm going to be ready to buy property. Well, they don't understand the psychology. When house prices are going down, people are scared. They're like, I don't want to, is it going to keep going down? I'm going to buy this house for $500,000. It's going to be worth $400,000, next year. So if you're not going to buy now, great deals. I just don't see a bunch of people jumping in. There's this term called, you don't want to be catching a falling knife, because when prices are going down, it's easy to be optimistic now, but when it's actually happening, you're going to be scared. And also, you'll see more inventory, you'll see more of opportunity. So you're definitely going to see a change when interest rates, change. So that's kind of my take. Keep close eye on interest rates. I think prices are going to stay steady, maybe take a slight dip, but the only way that will go down a lot is if interest rates change next year, which is saying they're not. So we'll see.
That was a good analogy there with the knife, Alex. And I really like this next question. I think it's a really honest one. I think it's a feeling that many people get when they're starting to this business and they're wondering, how do you get over the fear of failing in the real estate business?
Great question, because
great question, right?
Yeah, that's an epic question, because we're always afraid. I mean, I remember I used to be afraid about wiring money on deals. I used to literally be at the bank wiring money, and it's like, it's a lot of money. You're wiring 30, 40, 50, 60, large amount, thousands of dollars, and that you've worked really hard for. So one of the things, so I used to be scared, but not anymore. Now it's just like a task. Like me, I'm not scared anymore because I have enough experience. But the way I really got past it, to be honest, is I went to go work for somebody else, mentor me, and then their experience was my experience, and I was working in the industry like firsthand, and it wasn't my money, it was my time and my commitment, but it wasn't my money. So just being able to observe another investor doing it at a high level was so critical to like my emotions. I was not afraid of it. I was actually very happy. I'm like, yes, I'm in the game. I'm working for somebody. I'm finally doing something I want to do. So that's how I got past it. Also, if you guys want to check out my Bigger Pockets, number 418, I talk a lot about there how I look at the mentorship, how to use the apprenticeship model to align yourself with a great investor, somebody that you help you get to that level, and then that will help you get past your fear because you're seeing them do it, and they have a lot of answers that you have questions to.
Yes, amazing answer, Alex, as always. And yeah, personally, getting in real estate investing, myself and relatively new, I'm super thankful to be with this team here. So yeah, definitely find that. And it's really great learning and seeing things firsthand. So our next question that we got for you guys, as a new investor, how would you fund your deals? This is a really important question because obviously to buy properties, real estate takes a lot of money. Some can be your money, hard money lender, personal money lender, and then other people's money.
Right. Okay. Well, the first way you could do it is if you have the money, but in Southern California, at least our market, I mean, you're going to need $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 in cash. Most people starting out don't have that much cash. I didn't have that much cash. So another way you can do it is you can do a hard money loan. We're going to actually analyze the deal right now live in a minute, so you guys will see the numbers, how much cash is required on this particular deal. But typically, you're going to need to put 20-25% down. Again, it's based on your experience level. So if you're newer, they want you to put a little bit more down because you haven't proven that you can execute a deal and then repay that loan. So they might ask you to put a little bit more down. So it could be 25%. And on a $400,000 deal, I mean, think about that. That could be $80,000 to $90,000 just on the down payment to acquire the property, not including the rehab costs. So if you add rehab costs, another 40, 50,000, that could be $120,000, $140,000 that you can need a capital. So if that's how much you need, you could also do what's called a joint venture, as I've done in the past, right? Where maybe you don't have that money and then somebody in your network has that money and they trust you and you've been talking to them about doing deals and then they put up the money and then you guys split the profits. Typically I would do 50-50, but there's other ways you can structure it as well. Again, based on the division of labor. Who's doing what, and it goes back almost to what we were talking about earlier, the roles and the goals. Like, okay, what are the roles, what are the goals? If you say, hey, I'm gonna go get this deal, I'm working on it, it's gonna make $50,000, you have a $200,000 line of credit in your house, are you willing to use that line of credit to fund this deal so we can split this $50,000? So that could be an example there. But again, we're gonna analyze the deal live in a minute. Now, private money lending, private money loans is also something that you hear a lot about. It's just a fancy word saying people in your network have money. So you need to look at people in your network. So you really want to find people that don't have money, but maybe don't have the time and they're looking to make money on their money, right? And that way, because I've had problems with that too, with partners where they have the time and they want to be a little too involved. And, we're arguing about paint color, we're arguing about, list price, all these things like that. So you want to kind of make sure also that they don't want to be too involved. It depends though. If they're like, experts in rehab and they want to be involved in that, that's fine. But you get what I'm saying. You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, and that can happen when you're with people as well. So just kind of be cautious about that, be aware of that. So yeah, that's how I would look at it and how I would fund deals. We're going to show you the numbers in a minute, but every different, and you don't have to fund deals all exactly the same way. I did a joint venture and then I did use my money and I did it on my own. And then another one then I ran out of cash and then I did another joint venture. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be uniform, like you're doing all the deals exactly the same.
Love that, Alex. Like you said, whether it's your money, whether it's a hard money, whether it's you're using a private money loan, each deal can be structured differently depending on what the roles and the goals are of the people that are, involved in that particular deal. So I think people really can appreciate that. Just want to remind everybody again, this week we're going to be doing a live analysis of a deal. So we're going to be hopping on that in just a couple of minutes. Alex is going to actually show you guys how we as a team are kind of going through deals when they come, onto our table. In the meantime, just want to again kind of jump in. Next week we're going to be going into goals, and Alex is going to let you guys know a little bit more about next week.
Yeah, we're gonna also have special guests next week from here, guests here from Hawaii. So just you guys want to check in next week because I got somebody that's gonna come in be a special guest, and then and really just they're going to cover how they set goals and then how they've been able to transform their lives in 2020. So I really want you guys to tune in next week to check them out.
That's super cool, Alex. Again, not only are you going to hear directly from our team, what our team goals are and how we're kind of getting in alignment to make sure that we're on the same page for 2021, but also we're going to get to hear from one of Alex's friends out in Hawaii and really kind of get to dive into how they're using goals to really transform their life. So really awesome to see that. That'll be next Wednesday. I know Fernando's asking, it is every Wednesday. So this Wednesday, again, we're going to do a live deal analysis, and next week on Wednesday, we will be doing goals with one of Alex's good friends out in Hawaii. So make sure you do tune in. Jumping back into the questions here, Alex, I know a lot of people are wondering, because tax season is coming up, end of year, do you consider a, real estate friendly and, a CPA and attorney to be kind of part of your inner core team?
Yeah, of course. I think you need to start thinking about it early on because, you need to start structuring the way your business is going to be. Like, are you going to get talking to somebody about it, or at least if the person you're using now, they might not be the best person because they might not be an investor. They may not know all the ways that you can maximize your tax life, maximize your tax benefits and stuff. So make sure you're starting to talk or look for people early on. Once you've done a few deals, you also maybe want to network with other investors and see how they're doing it. If they have maybe a similar business structure as you. An example is, I network with Ryan Pineda because, he's currently still in his coaching program, and he has a company called True Books. So I'm going to be using them next year because I know they understand my business and they're experts at reducing the tax liability. So as far as lawyers, also, I know we're in California, or our deals are in California, so we don't really use closing attorneys, but or lawyers to close deals. But it is somebody that you probably want to get on your team if you're in a state that does do that. So just look into that. And then you do want to have a lawyer that you potentially have them review stuff for you, contracts, potential issues. I had somebody trying to sue me late, in the last couple of months. Able to talk to the attorney about that. They had no case. It was going to be dismissed, and it went away. But at least I had that confidence. I can go and talk to my lawyer, and then there really wasn't any. They didn't have any case there. So they are important. So start thinking about it early on, but it's not the first step either.
Yes, perfect. All right, good answer. Next question is, how important is it to focus on what you are good at?
Oh yeah, that's an awesome question. So I'm a big fan of focusing on your strengths. I think, there's this term called like the riches are in the niches, which is true. I see so many new investors, they want to do multifamily, they want to do syndication, they want to do birds, they want to do wholesaling, they want to do flipping. Like, make up your freaking mind. What do you want to do? Because when I went into this business, I was like, hey, I think I could be a really good house flipper. And if I make good money flipping houses, I could buy small apartment buildings. And that's what I'm doing. Don't complicate it too much, you guys. Focus on something that you could be good at, and then you could expand into other areas, creative finance and multifamily. But you need to be really good in your niche. And then, so for example, I focus on sales, negotiation, presentation, networking, some of my best skills and what I have a lot of experience in, and I'm best at. So I don't want to be good at something that I'm not really good at. Like, I don't bad at. I want to be great at something I'm already really good at, because that's much easier. It's easier to get to greatness from something you're already really good at. Another example of that would be like, I'm pretty good at finding deals on the MLS. I'm pretty good at networking with enough people to get a couple deals a year from that. I'm good at those things and social media. So I focus on those areas of strength. Don't go into something where you're horrible on the phone and then you want to go do cold calling. Well, I mean, you're probably not going to be that good. And also to add is it drains your energy when you're working on things that you're not good at. When I'm looking at spreadsheets and looking at data, I mean, I just tune out. Like, I just want to I don't know, it just bores the hell out of me. So I just don't spend a lot of time doing that. There are times I have to look at the profit and loss. I got to look at, balances and bank accounts and all that, but it's limited to like what is absolutely necessary. And then I delegate the rest. Now, another example is people ask me about, hey, are you an agent? Do you want to be an agent? I've been an agent. My best year I sold close to 20 houses, but I have no interest in being an agent. I'm an investor. I want to walk in someone's house and say, hey, I'm ready to buy your house. I have no interest in listing your property. I want to buy it. So now there is some value of having MLS access, which I do have, but I'm not an agent. So just keep that in mind. Don't just become an agent to become an agent if you're not going to be, it's not for a purpose and it's not something that you could be good at. Also, another example, like I'm not that tall. So like there's a video on my Instagram, I'm trying to dunk a basketball in this backyard and the flip I'm doing with this basketball court. And you guys can see like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be an NBA or, any good in basketball. So try to focus on what you're good at.
When Alex realized he wasn't Kobe Bryant one day, he started picking up the real estate books and said, all right, I can focus on what I'm good at. And again, I love whoever asked that question. How important is it to focus on what you're good at? Like, very important, obviously, like that. If you're good at something, follow it. Don't go to a different route. Make sure you really kind of hone in on that. So, Alex, again, I think everybody here has been really appreciative of you answering the questions. We have a couple coming in just last minute on the Q&A. And I do think that this one is pretty interesting. It's related to when someone says no. So after you've approached an owner and they've expressed that they are not interested in selling their property, do you still follow up with them? Do you send them mailers or phone calls, or do you just remove them from your list and cut them dry?
Yeah, I just move on. If it's a hard no, I'm moving on. You need to find people that have at least don't chase people just because they have an ugly house. Doesn't matter if they have no motivation. You're never gonna force someone to sell their house. I've never convinced someone to sell their house. I persuaded someone that was already interested, but I've never convinced them like, hey, sell me your house at a discount. It just doesn't work that way, guys. So don't ever fall into that trap of, oh, what should I say to get them to say yes? And you just need to find the right people that are motivated enough and then not mess that up.
That's awesome, Alex. Again, I think you nailed it right there on the head. If somebody says no, they're not interested, they're not interested. Sometimes when Jay and I are out driving for dollars, we'll see a house and we'll be like, hey, that could be a house. But then you see, he has those 8 or 9 cars in the driveway and those all look like he's working on them. And, this guy is probably not going to leave this house no matter what we do to convince him. So although the home is in bad condition, there's no motivation there from the seller. And so, it's time to cut that guy dry and focus on properties where they are interested in selling instead of where they aren't. So that's great. We do have another question coming in from Ali. He's asking, what sort of automated systems do you use to establish your deals? And that'll kind of lead right into what we're doing here, Ali. We're going to go ahead and show you guys now in the next couple of minutes how we analyze a deal. Before we do though, Alex, just kind of let people know, do you have a rehab estimate, like a per square foot average that you're using when you do these fix or flips? And I'm sure you'll kind of dive into that a little bit here when we review a deal as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's a very important question because you need to analyze the rehab on that potential property to make an offer. You need the ARV, you need the rehab, and how much time you think you're going to hold that property to determine what your offer is, because that determines like what your profit is. So we're going to go into that in a minute, but I did a great IGTV video on that. So go through my IGTV feed. It was very detailed, went into a lot more detail than we can go into now about how we analyze what formulas we use, what metrics, just kind of overall like quick and dirty formulas of being able to analyze these rehabs just by looking at pictures, looking at properties, because you can't always go look at every single house before you actually make an offer. So you need these formulas. So the we typically using is about $40 to $50 per square foot in LA County. Typically a little bit less for certain properties like in Antelope Valley because they're newer, but generally it's 40 to 50 per square foot. And then it does also fall into a couple different categories. Is this just like a lipstick, like a hotel we're about to close escrow on and flip? That one was a hotel deal. We barely spent any money, like $10,000 to rehab that property. So that's a lipstick. And that, I mean, that was a 900 square foot house. So, that's like $10 a square foot. But the lipstick is going to be probably in that $10 to $20 per square foot. Regular rehab is going to be a little bit more than that, 20 to maybe 30. And the cosmetic is getting to that, like I said, 40 to 50. And the full rehab could easily be $60 to $75 per square foot, at least in LA County. You got to check your areas. That's why you got to network with other investors, ask them questions, see if they can give you a more accurate formula for your market. Also, another metric that we use is about $1,000 a day. And so the way we break that down is, let's say it's a $30,000 rehab. Well, we should be able to get that rehab done in about 30 days, because $1,000 a day should cover some labor and some materials. And so we just kind of use that quick and dirty way to kind of analyze how much time we might need for that rehab. It doesn't scale up, so $100,000 rehab, I mean, probably wouldn't take 100 days, probably take longer, but you guys get the idea. $60,000 rehab, you could probably knock that out in 60 days. So that's another quick and dirty formula that we use for a rehab. But go ahead, check out my IGTV video, because I think it's about like 10 minutes and it goes a lot more in detail to that.
Thanks, Alex. Again, I think those quick and dirty is the way you described it. And those are, that's a good way to put it, because it's just a quick and easy way of estimating the rehab when you're putting in an offer. Obviously, once it gets accepted, you can go out there and confirm those numbers, but this is a quick and dirty way to kind of, get a preview of whether those numbers are starting to make sense. So without further ado, Alex, let's go ahead and dive into our deal analysis. Guys, we are going to be, yes, here we go.
The moment everyone's waiting for.
The moment you all been waiting for. In the meantime, guys, Alex is going to be pulling up a calculator to use here on this deal. I'm just going to put in our second poll here today, and we're just wondering, what deal investment calculator are you using when you're analyzing your deals? Are you using your own calculator? Are you using Alex's calculator? Are you using a Bigger Pockets calculator? Or when I'm talking about a deal analyzer, are you sitting here like, man, I don't know what this guy's talking about. I don't have a calculator. I need some help with that. So we're launching that poll right now. And then without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in, Alex.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I'm going to share my screen now. And then we're going to go right into the deal analysis. It says host to stable participant screen sharing. Will?
You are now the host.
All right, guys, jump in. Okay, so hold on. All right. Let's look at it. All right, you guys. So where did it log me out? Here we go. Okay, so can you guys see my screen, the flip deal calculator?
We can see it. And guys, if you have any questions at all during this process, please feel free to use the Q&A feature. If you have a question on what does these numbers mean, why are they changing, what are they adding, let us know in the Q&A and we can try and answer those for you live as well. All right.
Okay. So you guys, just so you know, the main thing here, we're going to use a couple of tools. So we use this tool, which is our flip calculator, that enables us to run the numbers on a base case, best case, and a worst case scenario. Now we in the best case, the worst case right now, because it's just, I tend to use that once we're already advanced, we've made an offer, we need to rerun our numbers, maybe we've got a counter offer. So cash is needed here because this is how much we're going to potentially buy for, ARV, total rehab estimate, how many days we're going to hold it. This is the profit. This is how much cash we're going to need based on how much financing leverage we're going to need. And then also how much of a loan amount we're going to get from the hard money lender potentially. And then this is the purchase cost with hard money points here, with utility costs. If, big fat acquisition fee for Jay or for Will, obviously these are, I want to make sure that my team is getting paid, get that money. And the resale cost here is, people underestimate this. Look how much we have to pay these buying agents commission. So it's a lot of money. So we're gonna go in detail to all that so you guys can see how we analyze the deal, how we look at how much profit we wanna make, how much risk we wanna take, how much money we're gonna tie up. So we're gonna go to all that. First, let's see what we're gonna do it on. They recently changed this. It's weird, so let me just log back in. Okay. So this is a house that, you have the address right in front of you there, Will? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. I didn't.
Insert cue.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, look, another one just hit the market, but we're gonna analyze this one here. Okay. So you guys see my screen?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Yes.
So this is a listing. Now we're going to be analyzing this deal. It's a live MLS deal. Please don't share it with anybody. But this is basically a property here in South Central LA, right? It's listed for $449. This is the address. You can see there's two pictures. There's, only two pictures there on the.
Alex, quick question here, and this dives back to Ali's question about systems. It says right there in yellow that this was emailed on December 21st, 2020. What does that mean?
Well, it means that we already got that email to us as a team, because we have these automatic searches set up across these alerts whenever something falls into our purchase criteria. That's one of the systems that we use to get leads, to get to review deals that could have opportunity for a flip or investment. So that's another thing that we recommend is, if you are going to pursue those in MLS, just set up the auto searches so you never miss an opportunity.
And I'm pretty sure you can set those up with Redfin, Zillow, MLS if you do have access, but that's an automated system, guys. That's a system that you set your criteria of homes that you are interested in and locations that you are interested in, and you get pinged when a home hits your criteria. So this is a home that has hit our criteria, and that's why Alex, Jay, and I are analyzing that now, is because this is a home that fits something that we're looking for.
Yeah. So the first thing I like to do, you guys, is really just look at the Google Earth. I want to see that if there's any issues. If I want to see if it's close to commercial, any deal killers, like if it's right next to some railroad tracks, or it's just a really odd property. We'll see if there's anything there going on with this. So I already had it open. Can you guys see my Google Earth?
Yes.
Okay. So now we typed it in. This is also very helpful on your phone. If you're in the field, download Google Earth. So the first thing I'm looking for is, okay, so it actually is by railroad tracks. Now this area, it's not a complete deal killer in a nicer neighborhood. That probably for me, but this is South Central, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Now, because it's not this house. If it was this house, I definitely would reduce the ARV. This one, I will reduce it, but not as much. I know it's only one house over, but it's directly next to the railroad track. So what I'm looking for here is, if you hit shift and your mouse, you can do this where you're like looking around. I'm looking for any extra bonus area, maybe seeing the curb appeal when I go to the Google Street View, looking at the neighbors. Is there any hoarders or anything kind of weird going on? So just really analyzing from an aerial view. So let's put the little man here and see. I like to see the curb appeal potential. So this one does have some curb appeal potential. We put some nice landscaping, some new windows, got rid of these old overhangs here on the over the windows, and new fans. Like this could really look really nice. And because we operate in entry-level, mid-level houses and properties that are typically going to first-time home buyers, curb appeal is important. You want that, husband and wife rolling up to the house and be like, oh my God, I love it. It looks so beautiful. And so that way it impacts their impression of the property all the way through the house. So people underestimate how important curb appeal is. It's extremely important, at least for our business model. Okay, so assuming that we qualify this deal, I would now go back over to the listing, and I would read over the listing just to see everything, if anything jumps out at me. Okay, it's a pro listing. So I know this is a little bit advanced, but probate is a process when people die and then now they have property and needs to actually go through a court process, and it can be lengthy, but it is an area that you need to focus on, because some of my best deals have been these scenarios. People die every day. They have real estate. They haven't been maintaining it. People that inherited don't live there. They don't want to keep it. They don't want to fix it up. They don't have the money. So it's a great area for investment deals, but it is a process you need to understand so you can help people navigate through that, or understand how that process works when you're approaching a probate listing that's on the market. You guys follow me? All right. So we're looking at the listing right away. Okay. Investors. So you're looking for these tags. You're looking for these keywords. Investors, TOC, needs work, needs to be sold as is. Now, if that description said perfect for a first-time home buyer and it was listed $58,000 higher, I would disqualify it it's not really going to be an investment deal or a flip opportunity. This agent is pitching it to the world as a first-time home buyer deal. It's probably, if the property has, it's in pretty decent condition and it looks like financeable, I also might not pursue it because somebody can get a loan to get that property. They're going to be able to pay more than me as an investor that needs a greater discount. So I hope you guys understand that.
Alex, I love that. And I want you to just clarify that again. Can you just repeat those words that you use that indicate this is investment grade property versus the words that are indicating, hey, this is a retail property? What are those key words again, just so that everybody taking notes, can really kind of get those dialed in?
Well, they're the typical T words, TLC, which stands for
tender loving care. It needs some work.
Almost forgot that. Handyman special, investors, flip opportunity, investment opportunity. Those agents are putting. What's more important that I want to make a point, guys, is that you're paying attention to how this listing is being pitched, marketed to the world. If they're saying it's perfect for a first-time home buyer, we call that agent. He's already thinking that this is going to be a first-time home buyer opportunity. Remember, he's in charge of selling the property. Now, I'm not saying that I've never got a deal where the listing said, good for first-time home buyer. I'm just making it a point to show you guys that you need to look, is this a flip opportunity based on the listing and based on the data, based on what I'm looking at? Because I see a lot of people waste their time pursuing things that are unlikely to turn into a flip opportunity or an investment opportunity. So don't waste your time on stuff like that. Go on to something that's clearly, and it goes back to what we talked about earlier, where if this person says they're not interested, should I still pursue them? Well, I mean, they're not motivated. So you're going to waste a lot of time, go through a lot of people, find somebody that's motivated. I
love what you said there, Alex. Like, this is how the agent is marketing this property to the public, to the world. And even if you don't have access to the MLS like Alex does, if you're using Redfin, if you're using Zillow, you're going to see that description on your end as well. And if that agent is marketing that house as perfect move-in ready, it probably doesn't fit in investment grade deals, right?
Yeah, because sometimes they're great agents and they're listing the property very low to get a lot of offers. But you're thinking, oh man, look, it looks pretty clean, it's listed low, but you're not really factoring that they're just a good agent, they're listing it low and it's going to sell for much higher than the asking price, at least in that scenario, right? Or when sometimes I'm pursuing foreclosure deals or people that are in foreclosure and I'm trying to go to them direct. If the house is impeccable, like on Google Maps, I'd probably not pursue them because, like I said earlier, I'm not interested in the listing. I want to buy property. So I'm looking for foreclosures that also need work because then I can justify my offer being lower compared to a house that's completely dialed in. And here, let me steal it from you because I don't need to do anything. Give me a good price on it. That's kind of what you're asking the homeowner. They can just list it. They have other options if the property's in ideal condition and move-in condition. Yeah.
So Alex, if you get a lead in your inbox and it says a price that's a low price, but you click in and the description says move-in ready and you look at this house and it looks great, how much longer do you analyze that? Are you pretty much like, hey, this does not fit my criteria, it's on to the next one, right?
Some listings you need to spend 5 minutes, some 5 hours, like for real. Because that one that's 5 hours, because it's great listing, you gotta go look at the property, you gotta make an offer that same day, you had a good conversation with the agent or the seller's really motivated, you gotta go out there that same day or they're gonna go with a different investor. So that's where my strength is, that I've seen so many deals, how much time I should likely spend on that opportunity.
I love that, Alex. And I know a lot of people here don't have access to the MLS, but let's go ahead and dive into one of the advantages the MLS does have, which is the extra information that we are able to get from that.
Yeah, so we're looking at this listing and this private remarks, you guys, you can't see it if you don't have access to MLS, but it gives you kind of the dirty details, right? This is a probate with limited authority. I don't expect all you guys to know what limited authority means, but it essentially means that the court has to be involved for the acceptance of the offer, compared to full authority. Well, full authority means that the heirs can accept any offer they want and not have the court involved, which is ideal for us as investors. So you want probate deals with full authority. Doesn't mean that you can't get an investment deal with limited authority. It just means that the stars have to align a little bit more. More things have to go in your favor for you to get a good deal on a probate deal with limited authority. But subject to court approval, like it's saying, scheduled for court date is to be confirmed by the attorney. That's another thing on probate deals. Because of the slowdown of COVID, probate deals are taking longer to get to court, meaning that make an offer on a probate deal today, but it might not go to court for 2 months. And then if it doesn't go to court for 2 months, then you're going to be not buying the property for almost 3 months. And then you're not rehabbing the property, you know, for another 4 or 5 months. And then now you're going to be listing the property later on, and we don't know what's going to happen next year. So you got to factor all these things in because we're essentially as investors, when we're flipping property, we are kind of betting on what the future value is going to be. So you need all that. You need to factor all that in. All right, cool. So now we see that it says, please use a probate purchase contract and advisory when submitting an offer. So they're giving you very clear instructions here on the private remarks. Sometimes though, in the private remarks, it might say homicide on the property, and that's a deal killer for us. Now, if it said somebody died on the property, but with natural causes, that is not a deal killer. So, or sometimes it'll say it's a short sale, and I don't really pursue short sales that are listed by other agents. I only pursue short sales if I'm in charge of the listing itself, the negotiation through my team, because I've had very little success and no success chasing short sale listings on the market. Had success by talking to sellers that were in a short sale position, and we negotiated with the bank and we got a good deal. We took care, you know, everybody. So just kind of little nuances. Instead of calling for just to look at the property, that's another very important thing. I like the property, I like the price. How do I look at it? Well, it says it's showing information right there. You know, call this guy, and that's what we're gonna do in a second. Another thing I pay attention to, the license number to this guy. The lower the number, the longer he's had his license. And why is that relevant? Because if it's a brand new agent, he might not be as savvy, might not be as well versed in negotiation. I might have an advantage. Now, this older agent, this guy looks like, if I click on this, I can see, can you guys see my new screen? Yeah, okay. So this guy got his license when? He got his license, I know a long time ago, in 2000. He's had his license for 20 years. Probably knows the tricks of the trade. Just kind of, you know, knowing my counterpart, right? Knowing who I might be talking to is important. So just keep that in mind. And it also has their information. So now I'm looking at this deal. Let's run the ARV now. You guys ready?
Let's run the ARV. And guys, if you are getting some value out of this, if this is incredible, if you don't mind just putting in the chat, wow, this is great. You know, again, I think this is some real nuggets that Alex is providing right here. Incredible stuff. Again, we're going to actually call this agent here and talk to this person live on the phone with you guys. So this is just incredible stuff. If you guys have any questions, please keep them coming in the Q&A. We're going to try and answer these live as Alex keeps going through this deal.
Awesome. So what I do here is I just pull up a new screen because I don't want to get rid of this screen. I want to be able to toggle and kind of go back and forth. So then, because remember you're analyzing, so I'll just do right click and then I'll open another brand new MLS screen. Okay, so it's loading here in the background, and then I'll copy the address, and then I'll go ahead and then now I have a new MLS search, which is going to search listings active under contract, listings pending, and the close. So this is the status. This is the property subtype. So I want to make sure I'm comparing it and pulling up listings that are also single and compare like for like. I typically will start with, I want to start within a half a mile, but I do want to be within the same pocket of real estate, but this is a good start. And now I type it in and it brings it down. I got to click here, and now it's going to bring in this status listings within a half mile. These are also filtered. So it enables us to filter for all the, you know, maybe I want to compare it. If we go back, we can see this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house with 1,248 square feet with a 5,387 square foot lot and built in 1905. Now that tells me also this house is over 100 years old. And if you look at the picture, I mean, it doesn't look like they've done a lot of upgrades. So that tells me that it likely needs a re-roof, re-plumbing, you know, maybe some foundation issues. So there might be more potential for higher ticket items on the rehab. So just something to be aware of, just again on the quick and dirty. So, and also, do I want
you call those? You call that kind of identifying your major key systems, right? What key systems in the house might need to be reworked?
Right. But now, if I was a house built in 1978, I wouldn't have that same mindset of like, hey, maybe it's gonna be a heavier rehab, because my experience with these older houses, man, they just need a lot of extra work. Almost every part of the damn house needs to be touched. And that's not the case. And you'll be looking at a house built in 1980, you might not need to do the AC, you might not need to do the replumbing, you might just need some repairs, but that's different than replacing all of it. All right, cool. So let's go back over here. Now we pulled, right now I'm not gonna do a filter, but I could do a filter here. I wanna compare it to houses about 200 square feet, smaller, 200 square feet larger, because you're looking for a like for like property. So I'm not gonna do that now. I wanna neighborhood, I go to results, and then I bring up.
And Alex, while you're doing this, we have a great question coming in from Christian, because a lot of people aren't at our level and don't have access to the MLS. So Alex, Christian was wondering, how do you feel about running the comps on a Redfin or Zillow? And really what you guys are seeing Alex do right now is he's dialing in what the criteria is. And you can do this on Redfin, or you can do this on Zillow as well. This is just a different platform, but all Alex is doing right now is really, dialing in what we call apple for apple, like for like. And I want you guys to really take notes here and watch how Alex finds this like for like property here.
Yep. Let me make a point about that. If you don't have access to MLS, that's fine. You got to work with what you have. You can't use excuses and say, hey, I don't have MLS, so I can't comp property out. That's not true. Now, you might have to take extra steps, meaning like maybe you go on Redfin, you set up this kind of a similar search, you find some comps, and then you drive those comps if you're close enough, right? Because you're not able to see the extra information that you saw, but then you could go out there on your own and drive the comps on that particular property if you feel good about it, you want to make an offer. So there's that way of doing things. And there's also other services you can pay for, like PropStream. If you want to put that in the chat, Will, PropStream is I've heard good things about that one. I think Real eFlow is another one. So there's those systems out there that will pull some data that's better than Redfin, but you do typically got to pay a monthly fee. But if you're taking this seriously, you want to do this as a business, you want to do more than one deal, then you got to invest, you got to pay to play.
Love that, guys. Again, like Alex said, you don't necessarily need this MLS to get this information. You can use other websites, and a cheap way that you can do it is have a spouse or a friend or family member call the agent of that listing and just say, hey, I'm an investor and I'm thinking about flipping this home. If I did flip it and I gave you the listing, what do you think you could sell it for if we got it into really nice condition 4 months from now? And they'll give you an idea of what the ARV will be. Again, those are all just indicators. You're going to want to find your own ARV using your own platform. And again, we're going to get to see Alex really dive in on our apple to apple right now.
Awesome. I'm ready, guys. All right. So look at the screen now. This is a very, very important screen. I'm on the screen a lot because it's the agent one line view. And essentially what's showing us is the listing ID. So we can click here, hyperlink. It's showing me the distance from the property. Obviously something a little bit closer, 0.2 of a mile compared to 0.5 of a mile. There's just some neighborhoods that can make, you could be crossing over a major street and the neighborhood could change drastically. And that's why the comp might be higher. So just keep that in mind. And then it says here the statuses. So the first two are active listings. One of them is our subject property. This is active under contract. Active under contract, in my experience, means like maybe they accepted an offer, but the buyer hasn't submitted their deposit yet. Pending means like, hey, this is an open escrow, like they're already accepted an offer. It's likely to close. And those are good listings to call on if maybe you don't have a lot of comps to go off of, or maybe you really want to know what that comp is going to close at. So I'll call an agent and it'll sound something like this. Oh, hi, John. This is Alex. I'm a buyer. I'm looking, you're listing at 1408 East 76th Street. Is it a bad time? No. Okay. Hey, so I'm trying to use it as a comp, and I'm really hoping you can help educate me and help me out. Did you get asking price or above, below? Because I'm trying to use it as a comp. Would you help me out, please? And then usually they're able to help you out and say, oh, yeah, we got a couple offers. And then because, it's good for them, right? They got an open escrow. They're about to get paid. So you're just calling them saying, please, 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 because it's going to help you identify what that comp might close at and therefore give you more confidence or just more information about what the value is going to be on your subject property. So that's a little quick tip. And then these are all sold comps, right? Where everything from 7 to 13 are actually sold comps. And then this is, if you see these little arrows, these are cool because it's telling me that out of the properties that sold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of those, I think 9, sold above the asking price. And so if there was a lot of red arrows going down and you ran some comps, that would be an indicator that maybe things are trending down in the neighborhood. Whereas over here, it looks like it's trending up, which is positive. We could be optimistic and positive about our ARV and maybe push it a little bit because we know that this neighborhood is hot. Things are selling fast. It also correlates on market over here. Look at how quick, if we scroll over 13 days longer, 6 days, 4 days, 14 days, 10 days, 4 days, man, for us as investors. I mean, investors, there's not that many actives, so limited supply, high demand. What does that do for you? That's a good situation to be in as an investor flipping a property. Very little inventory, high demand, and then the neighborhood is selling fast. Okay, so now, but these are smaller.
Now, Alex, what if those arrows were all going down?
Then yeah, again, then I would be more cautious, and then I would be a little bit more pessimistic on my ARV because I know that it looks like things are trending down.
Perfect.
Okay, so now that I've looked at these, I'm going to filter them down a little bit more because if you see, I mean, some of these are 2 bedrooms, a smaller house, like it's not a like for like, we talked about. So now I'm going to add a filter of, it's 12, let me go back. It's 1248 square feet. So typically you don't really want to be plus or minus more than about 15% of that number because an appraiser is not going to typically deviate more than that. And that number, 15% of 1,248 square feet is 187 square feet. Because again, you don't want to be comparing a 1,248 square foot house to a 2,000 square foot house. They're not like for like. They're different buyers, you know, they're different. So I just use a quick and dirty 200 plus or minus. So I'll say I want to look at houses that are 1,048 square feet to 1,448 square feet. And then we'll look at the results. Not as many, only 5. I usually about, I'd say, yeah, about 6 to 8 comps are nice. So let's see if we can get some more. I'm going to go over to the distance from the property and I'm going to put 0.75 a mile. So now we're going 3/4 of a mile and see what the results look like there. Okay, now we got 10 listings. So this is good. We can stay here for a little bit. We look over, okay, still selling pretty fast. And now we can kind of just quick and dirty look at the numbers. 449, seeing some 5s here. I like that. That's good. 522, 395. All right, why did this sell for 395? I want to see. Let me jump on that. Very similar to ours, but it is a smaller lot size. Let's look at the pictures. Do the pictures come up, guys? Can you see that?
Yep, we see them.
Okay. So it looks like it's kind of clean, but you got the old tile there, old kitchen cabinets. It's an older home. Not a lot of pictures of it. Again, it is a smaller lot because look, it's 3,400 square feet, which is pretty small. If we read the description, it's a little bit lengthy. Perfect size for right family, right? What we talked about earlier. Close to outside dining. In here, I see the TLC. But let's look down because on the closed listings, for us, it tells us who closed. Okay, so it looks like a cash buyer bought it. So Janet Garcia was the agent. Jose Gomez, he was the buying agent, so it was a cash buyer. So it looks like, yeah, it went to a cash buyer. Look, and it sold under asking. They wanted $439, they got $395, which looks to be a good decent price for this property, and where kind of we probably need to be at if other investors are buying in the 3s in this neighborhood for this size house. Now, if we go back over here, we're gonna see 530. Okay, 530, 0.2 of a mile away. Sold in 4 days. I'm excited to look at that comp. That might be what we call our exit comp or our ARV comp, because that's helping us give us an accurate view of what we might get for our property. Now, I look at it, see, it does have a little bit of a bigger lot. Now, I know this neighborhood, the bigger the lot is a premium because most lots are small. This is the hood, this is South Central, it's packed, very dense. So if you have a bigger lot size, that you'll probably get a premium, or a lot of buyers like that. Okay, so let's look at the pictures. You see it does have a nice curb appeal. Look at how the landscaping's done nice. It's clean. it isn't a flip because you see, obviously personalized items, but it's clean. It's a nice kitchen, but it is dated. It still has older tile. It's not, up to date now, but got a little bit of subway tile here in the back. That's nice, but it is in a flip kind of condition. Look at the bathroom was rehab, so it's close, but I wouldn't say. Oh, also now we look here. Is there any bonus area? We keep looking. Oh, wait, we keep scrolling down. What do we see here? The garage is converted. This is a bathroom. There's a kitchen right here. Maybe there's no there's no refrigerator, but
this is definitely a bonus area, right?
Bonus area, exactly. So that's superior to our property if we're not going to have this. And it could, part of the reason why, look, it listed for 519 and sold for 530. We're doing a deep analysis, guys. We really we need to know what our ARV is.
And Alex, real quick here, we have a great question from Delilah asking, so do we use the lot square foot or the square foot of the house? And what Alex is doing here is an apple to an apple. So remember, this deep dive is where Alex is literally looking for what is superior and what is inferior, whether it is the lot size or the house size. Exactly. We're really trying to get that apple to apple.
Well, obviously the square footage of the house is more important than the lot, but you can't discount the lot or just, it's not that it's not important. It definitely, you guys have been to property where it's a small lot. It's like, it feels claustrophobic. Like that reduces what we call the buyer pool. Less people are willing to buy a house with a smaller lot. So, and more people are willing to buy and pay more for a house that's a bigger lot. Because also with these ADU, accessory dwelling units, and the push and appetite for these cities wanting to increase affordable housing, they're pushing for this for these accessory dwelling units. And if you have a bigger lot size, it's easier for you to get the permit to do a play like that. Not that we're doing a lot of those, but that might be a bonus for an end buyer that is willing to add that and go through that process. And they are going to be living there longer. So, but if it's a smaller lot size, that's going to be harder for them to do. And maybe they don't want to do it because the smaller lot size is going to be closer to their, the renter, to the tenants that they're going to have. So keep all that in mind. You got to think really deeply about this stuff, you guys.
And we got some great follow-up questions along the lines with that, Alex, from Lena asking about the days on market, and Delilah again just saying all those need to be considered. And again, guys, everything during this deep dive needs to be considered, because if the home that we're looking at is a house away from the railroad tracks, and this other house that we're looking is nowhere near them, then again, those are things to take into consideration, whether they're the same size house or not. We need to take everything into consideration.
Exactly. Great.
And again, guys, that can be days on market or, lot size, the age of the home, square footage, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All of it is. And then see, also what you guys understand, this is when you're first analyzing deal, but then sometimes you get new information. You go out to the property and then it's in worse condition than you thought. It's in better condition than you thought. There's a bonus area that there wasn't pictures on the MLS, or the seller didn't talk to you about that, and you're there. You drive the comps, and now you see like, hey, ours is in a better part of the neighborhood than this other comp that we felt strongly about. Now we can push our ARV a little bit. So you're constantly getting new data to amend or modify your idea of what you can get for the property on the back end. In other words, your ARV, right? So, all right, 5 here. What's going on? I want to see. It was a little bit more than a half mile. It was listed for $499. Also a 4-bedroom, smaller lot. Took 43 to sell. And another good thing is I like to look at, why did it take 43 days to sell? Okay.
And that's what Victor's asking. He's asking like, hey, what with these 178 days, the 200 days, like, does that play into your analysis, Alex?
Yeah, we want to look at the ones that took longer to sell and then like determine like, why did this one take longer to sell? Because we don't want to be on the market for 170 days. Typically, you guys, you want to be in the market no more than 2 weeks, meaning you need to get enough offers in the first week to 10 days, accept an offer, because if you don't get an accepted offer and then go into escrow within the first 2 weeks, usually you're going to have to do a price reduction. And price reductions are not fun, because then you're just reducing it. And then now the market's like, oh, why didn't it sell? Now you're reducing the price. Now you got this motivated seller. Let me lowball them even more. It compounds. So you really want to list it right. We have the same: list it low, let the offers flow. And you're better off saying no to 10 offers than not even getting one. All right, cool. Beautifully remodeled property. There's only one picture. Unfortunately, we can't really get an idea of what, but it does look, man, look, they even got their hand in there and everything. Like, damn, these agents. Okay, let's look. FHA buyer. So I can't tell you why it sold. Maybe just didn't even do a good job marketing it. $499. It is an older house, 1927. So maybe there were some things in the property that weren't, completely rehab. But it's a bigger house with 4 bedrooms, decent lot size for the area. This is not a decent lot size in the valley, in San Fernando Valley, because most lot size in the valley are like 6,000 or more. But again, that goes to like knowing the areas. But it's still sold over asking, and it took 43 days. So maybe they just needed to find the right buyer. Maybe they didn't get a ton of offers, but they just needed to find the right buyer, or they fell out of escrow and had to come back in. So you don't also want to be too pessimistic, but it did sell over asking. Okay, so now I'm getting a better read. I think based on what I'm seeing, I would be comfortable at listing this ARV at $499 with $499 plus, because remember, ours is right by the railroad tracks. So you got bums, you got homeless people. I'm sorry, bums is probably not the right word. Homeless people. People that are transient, drug users, again, the railroad people, the toxicity from the trains coming by. So, things like that. So I don't want to do 525, 530, but I think I could get maybe 15, 520. So we'll leave a little bit room, and maybe we'll change that when we go look at the property. So let's go now to the next part of the analysis. We've kind of determined the comps, the actual calculator, and start plugging in some numbers. The property now, let's say we think we can get 500,000. If we use our estimates of $40 per square foot on that square, it would be $40 times 1428. That's $57,000, not including potential major systems. So I would add maybe another 15 to 20,000 for that. So let's say plus 15,000, 57,000 plus 15,000 is 72,000. So we'll put 72,000. I'm sorry.
Now, Alex, how did you get that extra 15? Will you mention that again? We jumped from the 57 with an extra 15. How did we get to that?
The 15,000 is just like, okay, if I have to redo the roof, that's going to be $7,000-8,000 at least. If I got to redo the plumbing, that's going to be $3,000-4,000 potentially. So I'm just putting about 5,000 times 3. Just quick and dirty, like, okay, or something like that. Maybe we just do the roof. We do some plumbing repair because maybe it's already been worked on, and then we don't have to like completely redo the AC and heating or something. So
those are the quick and dirty estimates. Just 5K. We have a couple systems. Let's just overestimate a little bit because we might need to do a little more than we thought.
Yeah, and then now I want to share with you guys here, which is the days held. This number here directly affects if you're getting a loan and you're not buying it cash. Again, this is reviewing a deal under our business model. I put 20% down typically, and then I put the rehab out of my pocket. Sometimes I'll do some leverage and put some on like the Home Depot project loan card where they give me 15, 20,000, 6 months interest free. So I'll get one of those. So I only put 75% of the rehab out of my pocket. 54,000. So now you guys are beginning to see a picture. I would have to put 76,000 to tie up $132,000, and then to make $5,000, you guys. Is that worth it?
If you guys don't mind, just put in the chat right now. Is that worth it for you? Would you guys put down $132,000 of your own money to make $5,000? Go ahead and give us a thumbs up, a hell yes, a hell no. Alex, just for the record, we're getting a whole lot of hell no's in the chat. So it seems like everybody is following along. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to make this thing a deal, Alex.
Yeah. All right, cool. So now we're going down. We're looking at, okay, we plugged in, like I just threw in a lower purchase price to just get it more realistic to kind of where we need to be at. We've already talked about the ARV. We've already talked to rehab. Going back to the days held, guys. So this number is represented by a couple of things. Number one, I'm just going to type on the side so we can calculate. Number one is your listing period. How many days are you going to list it before it goes in escrow? And we already indicated we want to be at like 2 weeks, 14 days. And then after you list the property, I'm sorry, let me go back. How long is it going to take you to do the rehab? So we talked earlier, is like 75 days, 72 days, because we're going to use the model of $1,000 per day. So 72 days. And then after we rehab it, we are going to list it. So now it's 14 days listing period. And then after we go in escrow period is typically 30 days, but there's usually always delays. The buyer takes a longer time to get their loan. So maybe we fall out of escrow, and then we go with the second backup buyer because the first buyer got cold feet. I've had that happen many times, you guys. Don't expect the highest offer property to be the best offer, because it's not. You want the one that's going to close. Just like we talk to listing agents or talk to sellers, and we might not be the highest offer, but we're going to close. Anyways, we're going to put 45 days here because that's the escrow period. And then we always want to have a pad of like 2 weeks. So now we're going to put a pad of 2 weeks. So now if we just review this, this is going to be 145 days. So now I'm going to change this to 145 days. Okay. So now we're getting kind of close. Under our business model is 50,000. Sometimes we'll go down to like 35 to 40 in Palmdale, Lancaster, because we need to use less money because the purchase prices are less over there. But I'm not going to tie up 125,000 of my money or other people's money if we're going to make like not at least 50 grand. Like that's just not worth it. It's too much work, 4 or 5 months of work, COVID. You never know what's going to happen. We need to make profit. We need to stay in business. So
it's a business, right, Alex? At the end of the day, there has to be some profit.
Yeah. So I'm looking for 30% annualized return on investment or $50,000, somewhere kind of around that mix. So I would still, I think, need to be closer here to 340. So now we're getting close. We want to get to a range of where we would need to be at. But again, look at the numbers here. I'm going to have to pay a hard money lender $4,642 for the money. I'm going to pay insurance. If Will, got the deal, he's going to make 15% of the profit. So, he's going to get a sizable check. How much is that? That's like 10 grand. So, I mean, this is included. I'm okay with making less because like Will's part of the team. So he's making money. He's getting a deal a month. He's making $10,000-$20,000 a month. I mean, he's worth every dollar of that. And I want him to get even more than that. The more money he makes, more money I make. But we're going to assume that he's not, this is not his deal. This is just something I found. But that's where I would put the acquisitions fee. And then my broker, I have an agreement with him. The real estate agent or broker that lists your property, guys, when you're flipping property, is an integral part of your business. They need to understand that we're not full commission. This is a layup. I mean, I'm giving you a rehab property to sell that needs to sell, that's completely remodeled, and I'm going to list it to sell. Like, I'm not 2.5% commission because
Can you go into that again, Alex, just so that people understand again, like the real estate agent, they get their check when the house is sold. And we were talking about some homes that were days on market in the 200 days. Imagine how much effort that agent has to put in constantly with that seller to deal with that home. And like Alex said, this is a layup. We are listing it low, letting the offers flow. And this whole process is going to be wrapped up and a check in this agent's bank account very quickly, right?
Exactly. So it took me a while, but I finally found an investor broker that understands my business and is willing to give me that 1% or $5,000 flat fee, because I'm not saying it's not worth to list property and sell it, but it's not worth the full commission, because the hardest part of a listing agent is finding a motivated seller that needs to sell a property. And I'm already providing that, the hardest part. So why am I going to hand you money? Now, I have given them bonuses when they give me over asking, and I'm generous in that, but I'm not going to overpay on the listing. Just want you guys to understand that. Okay. Now, also, if you're an investor and an agent, keep that in mind. It's going to be work, but I mean, if you're working and you're making 40,000 on this deal, but you're only making 10,000 on the listing, it's all part of that process where you need to identify what's the highest and best use of your time. That's why I don't have any interest in being a listing agent. I don't care about that. I want to make profit on deals. I don't want to make listing commissions, but that's my preference. You might be different. But understand it is going to take bandwidth. It is going to take your time. It's going to take follow-up negotiation and all that. Maybe you do that on your first couple of deals, but eventually, if you're scaling your real estate flipping company or flipping business, you can't be, doing the agent stuff and being an investor. It's just too much work. So you guys follow me on that, right? And then this is the outside commission. When somebody brings me a buyer to buy my flip property, I got to pay them a commission of 2.5%. Now, sometimes we do find the buyer. Sometimes we're doing these open houses. Sometimes they call us directly. Sometimes through the yard sign. Sometimes through our marketing on, on social media and marketing we do to the area. We'll find the buyer. But don't bank on that. That does not happen all the time. Out of like all these deals that I've done, I've maybe found the buyer like out of like 80 deals. It's just like not like, it's very low percentage. So keep that in mind. And then that commission goes up a lot as the purchase or the resale goes up too. Just keep that in mind. Because look, if the resale price is $700,000, look how much you're gonna have to pay to a listing, a buying you out. They're bringing the buyer that's gonna get you paid. But don't remember that this is this part of the fees, and you're not making all this profit. Like some people think that we're making all this huge profit when it's not the case. There's a lot of fees we have to pay, a lot of commissions. And right now I'm currently getting 8.75 on my hard money with actually 1.75 points. Oh, sorry. All right, so now we're down here. Okay, so now you see this, how much, this is how many paying, this is your interest to the lender. And typically that comprises of, if that's about 4 months, 145 days, that's about 4.5 months. That is gonna be like four mortgage payments. So it's costing me $2,000 to $2,000, $2,500 a month. Monthly expenses are going higher. So if you're flipping 2-3 houses, you could be paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in mortgage payments to your flips. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to have enough reserves for that. Because I've gotten low on my reserves because of buying multiple houses. It's cash. You burn through cash quick, you guys. So you got to raise money. You got to have a lot of cash to do these deals, or money partners that have it and trust you.
And I want you to mention that again, Alex, as you scale from one house to multiple houses. That means you have multiple rehab budgets, multiple holding budgets, and multiple properties that you're dealing with. So it's important to have, the right reserves in the tank so that you can make sure that those payments all happen accordingly.
Exactly. You're paying contract every week. You're paying utilities every month. You're paying property taxes every couple of, twice a year. So you have to pay that. So it just adds up. Profit because you're doing all this work. And so I'm not going to do all this work to make 10 grand. Like, I'm not interested in that. I want to make a profit because I'm working on this stuff for months and then I'm using a lot of my money. So it's like, I'm not going to do that for a little bit of money. I'd rather wait and find the right deal than to jump into a deal just to do a deal. But that's my preference, and I recommend that you guys do a deal, but it has to make sense. The numbers have to pan out. Don't fudge the numbers because that's the easiest way to lose money. Forcing the deal, being too generous, whatever. I'm like, I think I can get 550, and then that means maybe I can pay 375, and then I'm gonna make this much. Maybe I can pay 385, and then maybe we can do this rehab for like 60 grand. And you're getting all this. You're being optimistic, and then what if you only end up getting 480? Now, and then maybe the rehab budget goes to something more accurate, and then it takes you longer to sell the property. Now you're losing money. This is a negative. You see how quickly that changed? Because you could not get the price you wanted. It take longer, and then it could cost more to rehab the property. And I've hit the trifecta on several deals, and then, so that's why you want to make sure that you know your numbers when you're flipping property. Because look at what you got on the line. You got money on the line. I think that's kind of where I'm at right now, guys. I would like to call the listing agent now.
So Alex, I was going to say, once you get to this point, like this is now you're starting to really get your number dialed in. And what's your next step here?
I'm going to go to the listing and I'm going to call the agent. I know I need to be somewhere in the mid 3s, and I'm going to have an investor to agent conversation right now and see where they're at. It is a little early on their listing. They probably just listed it, and look where they're at. They're listed at 440. They're 449. So I got to be about 100,000 less than what they want on a probate deal. Kind of unlikely. I don't really pursue stuff that's going to be more than 75,000 off of the asking price, but we're doing an example here. So let's call the agent, you guys. His name is.
And I like what you said there, Alex. This is an investor to agent conversation. So guys, listen to this conversation. If we're able to get this agent on the phone, Alex is going to be asking investor questions, probing questions to the agent that help give him information to craft his deal, his offer.
Let's go. All right, here we go. Hello. Oh, yes. Hi, good afternoon. Quincy? Yeah. Hey, this is Alex. I'm an investor. I was calling about your listing on 70th Street. Is this a bad time?
I'm actually driving. It's not a bad time. What's going on?
Well, I'm very familiar with this area. Done several deals. I'm just wrapping up a deal in Compton. I wanted to park this money in another deal here. I'm familiar with probate, so this is limited authority, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just tell me what you want. What you want to know on what? I mean, it got to be court confirmation.
Yeah. So who picked this list price, man? It looks pretty high. I mean, I don't see how this would be a good investment. I'd probably have to be somewhere in the mid to high 3s.
the last part you just said who what?
Yeah, did you pick the listing price, or was it the seller or the lawyer?
No, it was me. They picked the last price. Me.
Okay, you think you'll be able to fetch 449 cash for this?
I can't hear you.
Do you think you'll be able to fetch 449 cash for this property?
Yes, first of all, we're still look at it, and what we gotta do right now is I'm trying to get the key from one of the sisters, so everybody go in and look at it.
Okay. Well, I ran my numbers. I ran my numbers, and to be honest with you,
Hold on 1 second.
go ahead.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure. Take your time.
Now, what you said again?
Yeah, I ran my numbers because, like I said, I know the area pretty well, and I think I can fetch on a traditional deal like about 525. This size house, this year built, I'm probably gonna spend about $6,000 to rehab it. So that means I'd probably have to max purchase price about 375. Do you think that's if you wrote the offer, do you think that's something that your seller might entertain, or what?
That's that's not right. Well, anything is possible. Like you say, that's numbers is probably about right. It's probably about right in some of your numbers. I tell you what, leave your name, the numbers, text me your numbers and stuff. And when things go inside the property.
Yeah.
And then the number no more. Even if I don't write off of, I'm just like some of the numbers sound about right, but I think probably
Yeah, I mean,
around 4. That's
yeah, I don't want to waste your time, but like I'm really interested in the property. So just when can me and my contractor look at the property? You said you're going to get the keys from the tenant?
It's some else time, and like I say, you got to get the paperwork, got to get, I'll let you know, text me your, the name and other information, and when I get the keys, and we got to set, with this pandemic stuff going on,
Of course. Okay, so Quincy, I'm gonna text you my name and number, and when you're able to show it to me, let me know, and maybe I can come up higher. I just like to be real transparent and not waste anybody's time, but maybe I can pay more, but I'd have to look at it and with my contractor so we could put a.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever you best have done, that's what I'm saying. Before you waste your time and stuff like that, see the property, and that's what the property is a total renovation.
Yeah. It looks like that. Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else coming up that might be an investment property? Like what else you got coming up?
I'll let you know. Like I said, once I have your name and number, and I'll let you know.
All right, Quincy, sounds good, man. I appreciate your time, and I'm gonna text you right now. You have a great day. All right, bye.
Dude, if that was awesome for you guys, just if you don't mind posting in the chat how awesome that was. That was Alex Camacho going
Let's
live.
go, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, I'm gonna text him. He said, hey, your numbers seem to be on point. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe. So, you want that genuine engagement with and don't be afraid to talk numbers. Look, I told him the numbers and he was like, yeah, I think you're right. But like, I'm trying to get the most from my seller. Cool. Property, and then maybe I could pay more. Let's go.
That was amazing. And you guys saw the price listing was like $449, and he was just going in like mid threes, which is almost 100 less than the asking price. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff. Alex is the pro, and that's why he's here. So amazing.
This is fun for me. I love this. I mean, it gets me pumped. So I think that's what do we want to do to wrap up? You guys, I got a kind of hard stop coming in.
Yeah, we were going to jump everybody into the panel real quick, just for the last 5 minutes or so, and celebrate the holidays, do a quick little holiday happy hour with everybody, and go from there. Alex, if you make me the host again real quick, I'll be happy to kind of get everybody into here. And then in the meantime, again, guys, just wanted to say thank you so much for coming out and spending the holidays with us. And obviously we can't wait for next week. We're going to be diving into goals. So if you guys don't mind, turn on your screen. turn on your camera and go ahead and hop on here, say hello to Alex. And if you guys have any questions about the deal that we just analyzed today, any feedback for next week for goals, let us know. Again, this is kind of your time here for the last couple of minutes, guys.
Yes, thank you again. Yes.
And guys, I know we ran a little bit longer this time than we normally do, but hopefully you guys appreciated that. Again, I thought that was absolutely awesome. Alex diving into a deal, really kind of showing you guys how we operate our business, and even going as far as getting on the phone with the agent and again, getting an appointment set up for us to go see this property.
Yes, that was amazing. Did we want to do a couple Q&A towards the end? Or I was saying you can do it, send us a message on Instagram or something like that. We can try to answer the questions next time on our Q&A. I know this webinar did go a little bit longer for an hour and a half, so sorry about that. And thank you everyone for still participating and hanging out with us. That means a lot.
Oh, let's go.
That was amazing, Alex. Good job. Thank you again. Happy holidays. I know Christmas is in 2 days, so yeah, it means a lot that you guys are still here.
And guys, please feel free to unmute your mics. Say hey to Alex. Say happy holidays. He's a real guy, and this is your time.
Thank you, Alex.
Yes, sir.
That looking, man. Master at work.
I'm so happy. Thank you guys for coming and really sharing this time. And I mean, this is what we're trying to do, to create this community. Nando.
Oh,
Good stuff, big dog.
nuggets right here. Thank you.
Dude, that mustache Renee is epic.
Is Kay on a plane right now? Kay Vaughn? What's this guy? Amazing.
Guys, I love it. We got Kayvon on an airplane right now. This is cool. We got Kayla out there driving. We got Amy with the spouse in the building. Christine tuning in with the Christmas lights and everything above her. Andy on the road. I love Jacob with the holiday hat. This is great, you guys. Happy holidays.
Lena, thank you again. Looking forward to talking with you soon. Yes.
Holidays.
Hello.
Yeah, you guys, we have Lena, one of our winners. She is one of our winners. I think we have George on here as well, one of our winners. So really excited for those guys. Lena and George, do you guys have any thoughts on your goals and what we're going to be kind of diving in with Alex on next week?
I literally have like 2 pages of notes of things I want to talk to you guys about. I am literally so excited. I'm trying to focus on like being with my family, but every time you guys have a talk, I'm like, gotta join. So really excited to talk with you guys.
That's so great to hear.
Financial freedom, baby.
Financial freedom, you guys. That's what we're all here for. Same thing. Transforming our lives, having more control of our lives, of our future, not putting it in anybody else's hands. Like, we got this.
I see the Christmas tree in the back with Victor there, and Susie, I see you with the hat on. You know, guys, just remember the biggest investment that you can make is that investment in yourself, and you guys taking this time right now during the holiday season to tune in and learn from Alex and get better. That's taken the biggest step, you guys. So again, just congratulations to yourselves for taking this hour out of your day and learning from Alex. Happy holidays. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here in a minute or two, guys. If anybody has anything else,
Can we just say thank you to Will and Jay and Marlon, my team. I could not do this without them. Let's give them a round of applause, guys. These guys
Awesome.
are rock stars, dude.
Great work, guys.
Same to Alex as well. And
All right, guys. That's all I got. Let's have a Merry Christmas, you guys. I will see you guys next week on the flip side.
Merry Christmas. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Take care, everyone. Happy holidays.
Good job, man.
Holidays. Bye.
All right.